Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Graveyard. I'm joined, as always, with my co host.
Hello, everybody.
And today, we got some leftovers from this past Thanksgiving feast. And today, we find out what happens when a killer cosplaying as their favorite historical figure meets a Scream esque film in Eli Ross Thanksgiving from 2023.
Hell yes. I am kind of hungry, and talking about Thanksgiving is just kind of making me want more food.
I'm tired of Thanksgiving food at this point. I can't. I can't.
I mean, that's
But
fair. I don't want Thanksgiving food. I kind of just want food.
Yes. But as always, this is the place where we talk about all horror media that we can find and accept and can stumble upon too. But it late episode. We're a little out of Thanksgiving festivities. We should be moving on to the next. But notes that I'm too damn stubborn to let them go to waste, and I will forget about them by the time next Thanksgiving comes around.
That's very true. So to jump into this movie, we have a few things that we need to discuss. One of which are starting our main cast. We have Jessica Wright, played by Nell Vakel, or Verikel. I still can't say that person's name. We have Bobby, played by Jalen Thomas Brooks. Gabby, played by Addison Ray. Uh, Evan, played by Tommaso Sinelli.
Tom, Tommaso
Tommaso.
Finelli.
We have Yulia, played by Jenna Warren. And then we also have Scuba, played by Gabriel Davenport. That is our main cast of potential victims within this movie series. Or within this movie.
Yeah.
It's not a series. Um,
I mean,
it could.
always room for a sequel.
Always room. You're right. Um, so, movie starts on Black Friday, the year before the most of this movie takes place. Essentially, we have a Black Friday deal going on that's starting on Thanksgiving at this store called Right Mart, which is owned by Jessica's father, Thomas Wright, played by Rick Hoffman.
and and is currently her stepmother, in law or stepmother's idea that they should open early on Thanksgiving for a Black Friday sale.
As a
The mother
way
being
to
played,
get more money.
yep, as a way to get more money, which we will come to see that doesn't go as planned.
No, it does not.
Also, can I just break moment? The actress that plays the stepmother, the character's name is Kathleen. The actress's name is Karen Cliche.
Yep. Which I think
Oh,
is extremely ironic,
yeah.
considering her character in this movie is definitely a Karen. 100%. She's rude, she's naive, she's weirdly angsty for an adult, in my opinion. Um, but so essentially, when they have this opening, Jessica and her friends go into the store before everybody else because she has keys to the store because her father owns it.
All
And
because all because fucking Evan had to get into a fight with a kid from the rival school, and he
yep,
broke his phone.
he broke his phone, needed to get a new one. So they go into the store. They are pretty much taunting the group of people, the mob of people that are being held behind by these little ass guardrails and two security guards. Doug and Manny. Manny played by Tim Dillon. Doug played by Chris Sandford. Maybe. That's how you say his name. And so essentially they start taunting them, and all these security guards have as weapons is a megaphone. And Lonnie, the kid from the rival school that Evan gets into a fight with, takes the megaphone and then announces to this crowd that the store is open and it's time to go in. Barreling past poor Manny, as Manny is like, I'm out of this bitch.
Yeah, man, as soon as the shit hits the fan, Manny is out in
Yeah.
a fucking instant. He's gone.
Manny's like, I don't fuck with that. No, thank you. He runs.
So.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So he runs, dips the fuck out of there, and they get up to the door where Doug is inside, and they're telling them that he needs to unlock the door now because obviously things are getting bad. So he goes to unlock the door, and they break down the door, crushing Doug underneath it and trampling over him.
Yeah, he probably gets the roughest out of everyone here because, he's getting crushed by the first couple people, and he's probably going to shock after the people bear over him. But, that because, you're basically all your bones are breaking in a specific area. You probably got a punctured lung at some point because of this.
Yeah.
You're feeling the most out of it.
He's definitely in pain. Like, there's glass shattered all around him. One of the people that are fighting their way in,
forcing themselves through the doorway.
Gets stabbed in the neck by a shard of glass.
But that man was fucking consistent. He went right for that free ass waffle iron.
Yeah, he went right for that free waffle iron that you get with every purchase. And then he lays down on a pallet and tries to hold on for dear life to that waffle iron until that little old lady comes up and steals that shit.
Like I said in the first recording of this, that man put a whole new definition on "till death do us part."
Literally he did. So then we have, that is technically the first confirmed kill that we see in this movie, because I believe by the time that the little old lady comes up and takes the waffle iron, Doug was still alive. Then we have Bobby, who was the all-star pitcher of their high school, their golden boy.
But he was in college.
No, I'm pretty sure he was in high school.
No, because Thomas specifically asked about. He says 2 college names in a college. Talked about a college baseball game.
Oh yeah, you're right. So, anyways, Bobby, who's in college, who's dating this high school girl.
There's something wrong here.
So essentially, he tries to go over to help Doug, the guy that's getting crushed, and somebody steps on his arm, and in the most unrealistic fashion, his arm bends upward and snaps. That is oh yeah, I think he does, especially since he's a college kid dating a freshman or dating a junior. Anyways, so
you can't make the argument that they started dating when they were in high school, because that means he was a senior dating a freshman.
No, that means he was probably a senior dating a sophomore, but
yeah, what's the difference?
A year. I don't know. So then we have Doug dies in the most, and honestly, I do agree. I think he definitely got the worst brunt of it in this area, because he literally just gets trampled. He got crushed to death by people walking over top of him. That sounds awful.
Yeah. And honestly, the worst decision I think they made was having someone go up there to unlock the door. Is honestly, if it broke, things went down, the sheriff's there, call the cops.
The cops are there.
A sheriff is there.
Robert, it's a small town. That was probably most of the cops.
They literally show us later that they have a small SWAT team.
Anyways, I do agree. I believe that they should not have had poor Doug go up to open the door. They should have just let it, crash in if it was going to.
Should have went to the back, let the things play out as is. You have security cam footage. Everything would have been all right.
Well, for the most part, because the security cameras weren't working.
Oh no, it was they had some security cameras working because there was at least pictures being taken in some way, shape, or form. But well, actually, that's a good point now because that means it was Evan taking the video. But I still question how that motherfucker had a fully charged phone out of the box.
Yeah, no, honestly, same. Also, when's the last time that you got a phone right out of the box and you didn't have to set it up first?
Yeah, he went straight into camera when that
Yeah.
shit went down.
Unless it was his girlfriend's phone. I don't know. I think that's kind of crazy. But then we have the last death of the opening sequence,
We have Amanda Collins,
who arguably is, to me, one of the worst deaths in this entire movie.
Yeah,
And not by not worst this was awful, like it was just bad, but worst as in that is probably one of the only ones in this movie that if I was gonna die in one of these ways, I would not want this one.
she got quite the unfortunate
Haircut.
What? I mean, that's one way to put it. She got put. The last thing she saw was 4 wheels and some steel.
Yeah. So she fell over. I think somebody knocked into her and she fell. And then instead of getting up like an intelligent person, she decides, "Oh, let's crawl across the ground." Well, there's all these people that are running everywhere and trampling over people. And then gets pinned. I would say pinned between 2 shopping carts.
Yeah, and one of the wheels of the shopping carts attaches to her hair, which I'm surprised the hair just didn't tear out. But no, it partially scalped her.
Yeah, then she proceeds to bleed out on the ground.
Yeah.
And then after the sheriff sees that, then he's all of a sudden like, "Oh my god, I should be a cop." Pulls the trigger.
He did fire a gun in the air in an open store. I don't think that's the best way to solve a riot, but
No, it's definitely not the best way to solve a riot, but there are other things that he could have done beforehand so that it didn't get to the point that it got to.
So anyway, he started blasting.
Yeah. So he fires off a shot, and then we get the opening credits.
Yes. Very I'm trying to think of the name for it. It kind of calls back to those 80s slashers, when right after the first kill happens, you get the big bold title card.
Yeah. It was a very big bold and title card.
But after that happens, we get to flash forward a full year with the cast credits in the opening being played through the video perspective of the events that Dickhead was taking. The shit stain of the friend group was recording through.
Yeah.
We get to see the video he posted up, and he posted it up. This man really just had. This man must like Logan Paul style of video editing.
Hey, he claims that he did not post it.
I don't believe it.
I don't either. Let's be real.
Yeah,
that motherfucker posted it. He's the shit stain.
He is the shit stain of the group. We can all agree on that. All right, but we get to flash forward a year. Thanksgiving's coming around again. I guess it wouldn't actually technically be a full year forward, would it? It would be just under 365 days because this is taking place I want to say at least just under a week before Thanksgiving.
I believe it is just under a week under Thanksgiving. So yeah, I would say that it's about uh
Fuck it. The movie fucking lied to me.
anyways, so we get our flash forward and everything excuse me. Everything seems to have gone mostly back to normal. Except for the fact that Bobby and Jessica are no longer dating.
Bobby,
Bobby gone.
Bobby made out like one of them predators on To Catch a Predator after Chris Hansen popped up.
Oh my God, Robert.
Won't let it go.
Let it go. Anyways, so Bobby gone. He leaves. Dips the fuck out.
Yeah, Bobby's out, so that leaves Jessica and her friends, Scuba,
Gabby, Yulia, and Shitstain.
yeah, leaves them all. Basically, kind of at this festival, I guess, kind of like a little get together. Evans being a little prick, wanted to throw axes at the wall, bragging to his girlfriend.
You jumped too far.
He was throwing axes at the wall. What else?
Not yet. So we get the jump forward. We learned that Jessica is now dating Ryan, a guy that we met in the opening of the movie. He seems to have a crush on Jessica, but he's not important, so we don't talk about him.
Slightly important, but he slips out of my mind because, like most former Disney Channel stars, I don't care about them that much.
That's fair. So we jump to the diner where Lizzie McMullen works. We meet the new sheriff deputy, as well as the group is having food there. And they're discussing the town coming up or they talk about the festival that's coming up in the town that happens every year, and they give out John Carver masks, which is kind of creepy, but to each his own. Then we jump forward a little bit more after them talking. Jessica is trying to get them to be okay with Ryan because Evan, the shit stain that he is, does not like Ryan until Ryan buys them tickets to a Packers
Football
game.
Okay. Yeah. You also skipped something too. The news feed showing Amanda's husband, Mitch, who was the store manager at Right Mart Thanksgiving, and the reason why Amanda was there was to bring him some Thanksgiving dinner. So
True.
You did miss over that part, and you get to see Mitch basically not revenge, but he's putting blame on Thomas Ryan's family for opening the mart
on Thanksgiving last year.
Yeah.
So we jump forward a little bit more. Some non-essential things happen. Bobby reappears. Apparently he's back. He left entirely. He wasn't even in town anymore.
Dip town because knew Chris Hansen was around.
Oh my God, dude. So then we have we jump back to Lizzie. Lizzie was at Right Mart. She is one of the people that was using the shopping cart that killed Amanda, and she was also the one that her shopping cart was the one that was attached to Amanda's hair that ended up scalping her. More non-essential stuff, blah, blah, blah. Then we get into the first kill from John Carver, who is Lizzie.
Yep. And I think this one was the slowest, I think, out of the kills that he does.
Oh, by far.
Because he first attacks her, stabs her through the hand. Right? Yeah, he stabs her through the hand first.
Yep, and then dunks her
head into the sink.
Her head and waters, or head and hands.
Yep, head and hands into the dirty water. Well, I think she used her hands to like push herself out. Because all I remember is her head being in there first. And then he opens what do you call those fridges that they use in restaurants? There's like a specific name
freezer. He opens the walk-in freezer and sticks her head and hands onto the freezer, freezing her to it in a very brutal way. And then we get to watch her peel herself off, which is kind of gross, but also really cool looking. The special effects, gorgeous.
It was like a bloodier version of A Christmas Story when the kid sticks his tongue to the pole.
Pretty much, honestly. So then we get into she locks herself into the office, attempts to after she gets freed. She locks herself.
To use her phone.
Yes, she attempts to use the phone. Phone does not work because her face is mangled and her hands are bloody and it's not registering that she's trying to use it. And then she goes to leave the office to try to run out and gets outside, tries to get into her car.
Yep, she's trying to find her keys to unlock the car, and that's when we switch to John Carver's perspective, because he is behind the wheel of. It wasn't her car, right?
It was her car.
Was it her car? Because she was looking in a different direction when she was trying to unlock the car.
No, you're right. You're right. It was not her car. It couldn't have been.
Because she's looking one direction, he turns the car on, or turns the lights on, and that's what garners her attention to then run away from her car to the garbage can.
Which obviously the best area to go.
Honestly, if someone's about to ram you with a car,
yeah, I would not pick the freaking dumpster, dude. But so she gets to the dumpster, she jumps inside, or attempts to
jump inside.
He rams the dumpster, and with the force of 1,000 suns, the dumpster's lid closes, cutting her in half. I call bullshit.
Yeah.
That is the most bullshit death in this entire movie.
Yeah, you're right. I do agree, but you know, it's all in the name of the blood and gore in that case for that kill. You got to give the killer's first kill a big bang of an effect, and
it's all in the name of the holiday cheer.
Yeah. What's bigger than being split in half by a plastic dumpster top?
Literally. So then we get to cut the next morning, and her bottom half is on top of the Right Mart sign at the store.
On top of the store, just sitting, which makes me think of like, how the fuck did you get that up there? Like, I this town may be small, but you can't tell me there's no insomniacs like just walking out and all of a sudden they don't see somebody like putting up the fucking
lower half of somebody's body
right up on the goddamn sign of the store.
Yeah.
But yeah, the sheriff is called to the scene there. You get to see his shock and awe because even he's sitting up there, he's looking up thinking like, what the fuck?
Literally. So then we have, then we find out that there is a Instagram page, that is posting pictures, of like a Thanksgiving feast meal table type thing. And all of the places at the table are the names of the kids that were there.
Yes. Each having their own safe spot at the table. At least at one end of the table.
Yes.
And the Instagram page is owned by John Carver.
By the John Carver.
The John Carver. Ooh. But after that death, we get to fast forward to see, to see my favorite character, whose first appearance that pops up in this movie. Let me just find his name again real quick because I can't remember it.
Favorite character, but can't remember the name.
This movie's the names of these characters in this movie weren't the greatest, so none of them were memorable.
I feel like most of them were somewhat memorable.
I remember Mitch mostly just because I don't know many Mitches.
Fair.
I know Mitchells, but I've never met a man just named Mitch. Where is he? McCarty.
Oh yes, McCarty. McCarty,
pulls up
amazing.
in his truck, and what does this man do? Nah, he ain't there to sell drugs to kids. He's there to sell guns to kids.
Hell yeah.
And his party. He's trying to get to his party that he's hosting to get his kids can get drunk. But just popping up on school grounds to offer guns to kids is fucking easy.
It is insane. And honestly, I love his characters so much. Like, his character is just so unbridledly honest. And I just appreciate it.
So the sheriff brings Jessica in to go over the footage that was taken on the phone by Evan. So that way she could help identify people within the video. Because, lo and behold, the first kill in the movie, she was in the film. She was in the face first, right up there in the camera, as she went right checkout aisle.
Like, the way that they point out who was there or not, love it. Because it seems so, like, innocent and honest. But at the same time, it seems, like, very disturbing almost.
Just a little bit.
Like, it's good. It's good.
Yeah.
So then we get more non-essential stuff, blah 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 blah, boring stuff.
I wouldn't say it's not essential. We get scenes that give more adds character suspect list. You know.
Yes. You mean when oh wait, nope, that's a little bit later.
Bobby reemerges as outside the sheriff's office. And then we also get to see Jessica's new boyfriend pop up too, which Bobby finds out they're dating in this situation.
And Bobby doesn't like it.
I don't know why he's so upset. One, you ghosted the girl for a year. What did you expect to happen?
Literally. Like, she's gone. You fucking, like you're being stupid, dude.
Really, really stupid.
But
we get that interaction. We get that scene was there just to give us some suspects to the list. You know, it gives reason why we think Bobby might be a suspect. It gives reason why we think the new boyfriend could be a suspect.
That is very true. And honestly, that's one of the things that I really enjoyed about this movie was the fact that it constantly had me guessing of who the killer was. Like, compared to a lot of newer horror movies, you can pretty much most of the time pick out who the killer is pretty early on. This movie was one of the first movies in a long time that had me guessing until the third act. And it was for multiple different reasons.
And we get multiple scenes in this movie that add suspects to the list, you know? So, you know, we get a scene where McCarty selling guns on school property. Maybe he's trying to be the killer because he wants his gun sales to go up. Which, genius plan, genius marketing.
Absolutely genius. That's like top tier marketing. Like, fuck's sake. Like, oh yeah, I want my gun sales to go up. Let's kill some people so that people want to protect themselves so I can sell guns.
Exactly.
Genius.
Exactly. It's perfect.
Okay, we should not talk about that.
But after we get that scene, we go to the next kill scene.
Manny.
Yeah.
This man. There are so many things that I want to point out about this kill, this scene, this amazingness of this fucking scene with Manny. So Manny was the security guard that ran away at the beginning of the movie. He is kind of a bitch. He sees that, like, the guy killed the person at and put their body at Right Mart, so he's like, I want to get the fuck out of Dodge, which is kind of shady if I'm gonna be honest. Like, what the fuck did you do, Manny? Or are you just running because you're a bitch? What is it? I'm pretty sure it's just because he's a bitch. But
Money's a drop, and it's a good reason to get out.
Literally. So he gets his passport together. He's getting all of his stuff. His ride is there. He sets his passport down to answer his phone, and the passport disappears. Ooh, spooky ghost. Nope. John Carver appears by stabbing him in the stomach with like an electric cutter thing.
Yeah,
or like
it's like it's a electric carver. It's like
carver,
it's like,
yeah.
Yeah, it's what people use when they're like getting the Thanksgiving turkey into nice thin slices.
Yeah, so there's a few things that I have questions about for that. I've used an electric carver before. I've seen them used before. Where was it plugged in?
It was one of those battery powered ones, all right?
I've never seen a battery power carver.
I've seen one. They're not nearly as powerful as the one you get to plug in walls, which brings up more questions.
Exactly.
That's how, maybe it was, the only other way I could think of is maybe he got hand cranked ones, you know, just.
What the fuck? This is filmed in 2023. This is based in 2023. This is not fucking olden times. They ain't got no hand carvers. That's called a knife, you dumbass. Anyways.
Machine carver. There's a scene.
Anyways, so he gets stabbed in the stomach by this electric carver, and he then starts like wobbling around. Mind you, the entire time this man has a cat. The cat is watching. Proof that cats don't care, as long as they get food, which I will bring up in a minute. So John Carver then, with the strength of 1,000 men, wraps a cord around Manny's neck and cuts his head off. Which I don't give a shit if you're using a wire cutter, if you're using some fucking like garrote wires, I don't care. It still takes a lot of strength to sever somebody's fucking spinal cord.
Strength scene, okay?
The man is strong. So after he dies, John Carver grabs his stuff and goes to leave, and the cat meows. And then in the biggest thing that made people actually like the killer of John Carver, he walked over, fed the cat, gave him water, gave him some scratches, and then left. Gotta say, even though the man is a psycho killer, gotta respect him for feeding the cat.
What, you're telling me you didn't like him before that scene?
I mean, I kinda did, but that just made me like him more. It made him more relatable. It showed that he's a person and not just a psycho killer.
Yeah, that's.
I just really appreciated that one. So then we get
cruelty.
Yeah, no to animal cruelty. Animal cruelty is bad. So then we get some more, stuff with the main cast, with Jessica and her friends.
We also get to see a nice little scene between Jessica and her father after that kill.
That is true. He actually apologizes to Thomas apologizes to Jessica about not really being there for her, because after Jessica's mom died, it left a hole in his heart and he was hurting, and he felt like he filled it by work, and then he filled Kathleen and everything was better. I know that's a little inappropriate, but like, it's not wrong.
Drinking beer at the time, damn
it. You're welcome.
But either way, we do get that touching moment between the two of them. They hug. So we get a nice little scene where his expressions are slightly changing, just a little. It's not as big as the other ones, but it's a nice other little scene that kind of pokes at like, hey, he might be two. Can't outrule.
That is true. So then we get the first interaction of John Carver and the actual cast, or at least Jessica, in her school. He comes in, and apparently their school is fucking loaded because he chases her into the cosmetology lab, like the hair place and shit. Like, what what fucking high school has that in their high school? Like, we had like a program that we could go to that had multiple different things that we could like learn how to do. One of them was cosmetology, but like I still call like, what the fuck? Like, that's some bullshit.
Hey, this may be a small town, but them school taxes still ain't cheap.
Small town, but rich money apparently. Um,
I mean, there is an entire Kmart ass store in this town.
that is true. Um, so she gets away and you know, is found by her friends and calls the cops and all this other shit. Blah 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 blah. All the boring. You know, has a little spat between Bobby and Ryan, and I will say we do see one of the coldest moves from Ryan, which I give the man respect for it. So, like, you know, Bobby shows up, he puts his jacket around Jessica, he's like trying to comfort her. Ryan shows up, sees that Bobby's jacket is around Jessica, and as he goes over to hug her, he just like pushes Bobby's jacket off as he goes to hug her.
Can I just say you also just skipped another kill here? Well, not another. You just skipped a kill.
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
Nope.
No, you did. The jacket slip off scene doesn't happen until later in the movie when Shitstain and his girlfriend get attacked or get
Nope.
kidnapped and attacked. Yes.
No,
I have
because
the
that.
timestamps pulled up here, my
What
friend.
the fuck are you talking about? Because then after that,
me.
that's when we have Lonnie and Amy.
Lonnie and Amy happened before that.
Did they?
Yes.
Okay. Anyways, so
What you're thinking of is when boyfriend is in the pilgrim outfit and he's talking shit to Bobby, and they just start getting in a little wage war there. That happens first, beforehand. Now we get into Lonnie and the blonde cheerleader,
Amy.
which you know, maybe Bobby has someone running for his money while Hanson's around. You know, maybe that's the real reason.
Maybe. But so Lonnie's kill, another one that I call bullshit.
This is what I'm talking about. Why Carver has fucking muscles.
Carver fucking grabs. So Lonnie was the dude that Evan fought before the movie, and he was one of the people that caused the riot and murders or deaths, the accident as they called it at Right Mart the year prior. So he goes to a different school. It appears that he is a teacher or a coach, and he gets pulled away by a cheerleader. Somebody call the cops on this man because that's illegal. She is like trying to seduce him. They're trying to like he's like, you know, we don't have enough time. Da 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 da. Clearly, they were about to, you know, intercourse.
She does a striptease with
Essentially.
trampoline.
Yeah, but she's not strip teasing for him because before she even starts, John Carver walks up and somehow gives this man the best chiropractic appointment he will ever have by spinning his head all the way around so that it is pointing backwards.
This man does a full 180 with this dude's head. With minimum effort, by the way. Like, there was no struggle. It was a clean fucking just snap.
Yeah, which, bullshit. I don't give a shit. You are a regular ass dude. You should not be able to do that.
Hey, man. The mask gives power, okay? And
The mask, fuck the No, we are not talking about The Mask right now, Robert.
No, it's a thing in horror movies when a character's wearing a mask as killer. That's where the most of their power comes from. That's the theory.
I thought you were trying to bring up the movie The Mask.
No, I'm bringing up an actual. Oh, when it's his. Michael Myers has his mask. Jason has his mask. The only person that I can think of that doesn't really have one, I'll replace the mask with a fedora, is Krueger.
I would replace Freddy's like him not having a mask with his claw hand, but okay.
No, a weapon's different because they each have their own preferred weapon.
I wouldn't say that Jason necessarily does. He uses a bunch of different weapons. He uses a machete. He uses an axe. He uses a fucking.
But what's the one that everything that reference him that uses? It's always a machete.
Nah, I would say it's an axe, but okay.
The machete is his thing. The kitchen knife or chef's knife is
Michael Myers.
And then Freddy has his claws. And then the chainsaw goes to Leatherface.
And then just a regular hunting knife goes to Ghostface. Yeah, you're right. So anyways, going back to Thanksgiving. So he gets his fucking head spun around like the best chiropractor in the world. And then John Carver, being the ever so lovely man that he is, goes underneath the trampoline that Amy is jumping on and puts a knife through the trampoline.
Yeah.
Stabbing her in the foot, in the hand, in the back, because let's be real. We've all been on a trampoline before, and if you haven't, I'm so sorry. But we've all once you're jumping, you don't just stop. It's hard to just stop yourself. So she lands on the knife on her foot, and then she's trying to stop herself, but can't really because she's still bouncing. So it goes through her hand. And then she fucking bounces again and then goes through her back, which is haunting. That is a terrible, terrible ouchie. Then we have the scene, you are right. Then we have the scene with Bobby and Ryan.
Yeah, we get to see after Jessica's by Carver for the first time, but before she gets attacked, her two friends, after the game is canceled.
We have the dumbest fucking line out of the shit stain's mouth.
What's that?
The football game has been canceled. I'm gonna go still play football. You can't play football by yourself.
Oh, I'm trying to look
I'll figure it out. I'm pretty sure the exact line is where are you going? I'm going to play football. You can't play football by yourself. I'll figure it out. I'm pretty sure that is the exact fucking line.
This movie had a couple good lines.
Which is just very funny. Then we have the whole scene where Shitstain and Gabby get kidnapped by John Carver. And Jess has her first run-in with John. Blah, 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 blah. Anyways, so then we get to a point and Scuba, Yulia, and Jessica are all together. And so basically, Yulia's dad shows up, which, did he ever even get a name?
Jessica's dad?
Yulia's.
Yulia's. Oh, no, I thought he was a Russian mobster at first.
Honestly, I thought he was too.
I think it was a G-Wagon. I don't know cars that much.
She's just named Yulia, so I don't think so. Yeah, no, he doesn't get a name, but he's played by Frank J. Zapanik. And this man shows up and in the thickest Russian accent I have ever heard, is just Yulia, get in the car. Where are we going? We're going to Florida. Okay.
No, get him the fuck out of there. Best decision possible.
Literally, yeah. Get your we're going home. We're getting shit. We're getting the fuck out of Dodge. We're going to Florida. All right, bet. So,
Can I just say Scuba had really another good line earlier in the movie that I just remembered it when he's like, he's gonna tag me. I'm gonna send that motherfucker a DM. Come get me, bitch.
oh, that is true. That is so true. Scuba has great lines. Um, Definitely an underrated character. So Scuba and Yulia are dating at the time, and Scuba and Jess decide to go to McCurdy to go get a blicky because they need protection. So they go get the blicky from McCurdy. McCurdy, being the piece of shit, trash ass guy that he is, there's a bunch of children getting drunk at his house. He has like maybe a 15-year-old being his security guard.
Listen, that is another good line that he has there. Where let me pull it up because I wrote it down. McCarty, not Blunderbuss. The
Fuck.
kid asks like, "Who's Black Sabbath?" And he tells him, "Get the fuck off
Oh
his
yeah,
lawn."
yeah. He's like talking about how like some
Sometimes
kid
things
comes
end
up.
much better than you expect. All right, think of it this way: when Black Sabbath fired Ozzy in '79, you would have figured it was all fucking over, the end of an era. But then comes Ronnie James Dio, all 5 foot nothing of him, the evil little elf, and he brought a magic to the band they hadn't seen in years. Who's Black Sabbath?
Get the fuck off my yacht.
Get the fuck off my.
Excuse me. Yeah, no, amazing line by McCurdy. I fucking appreciate that so much. I died the first time I watched it.
Yeah.
Cause just like
Also-
hearing him be like, "Get the fuck off my property," after somebody being like, "Who's Black Sabbath?" Funny as shit to me.
It is very funny, but yeah, Scuba goes to get a blicky off of McCarty.
And the way that he is describing the guns.
Yeah, he pulls out the 44 Magnum and he references Dirty Harry. You know, the entire like, are you lucky, punk?
Yeah, but he also pulls out a fucking Desert Eagle, and Scuba's like, "What's this one for?" He goes, "That's one's mostly for killing bears or blowing somebody's face off."
Essentially, yeah.
Like, holy shit.
And, listen, Scuba had a pretty good response with asking him if he had any human signs.
Yes, I
And
fucking appreciate.
His response wasn't, yeah, it was maybe.
And then he goes and grabs a fucking like, I think it was some kind of assault rifle.
No, it wasn't an assault rifle. He gives them basically standard issue.
Oh no, I know. But before that, before he gives him the pistol, he pulls an assault rifle out from behind his headboard.
Yeah, that's right. He does do that. Listen, this man is the most American character I can think in this movie. Okay,
No, honestly, he is.
but I thought here's one thing I do like is after he does give him the gun, the typical killer fodder character kind of shows that he actually cares that these kids don't die. And
Yeah.
he gives the gun to Scuba basically for free and is like, "Hey, just make sure you keep yourself alive long enough to return it."
Yeah, long enough to give it back.
You think he ever gave it back?
Yeah,
Or do you think that shit got confiscated at later?
I mean, maybe it got confiscated. Maybe he gave it back. One will never know. But so then they're driving. I don't know exactly where Scuba and Jess were driving because I don't think they really said it.
No, I think they were just out and about.
But
Scuba video times his
video faces, FaceTimes.
FaceTime. I don't use iPhone. Okay, it's stupid.
You sound like a boomer.
Fuck you. If my grandma was alive, she'd be using an iPhone. That's the real boomer phone.
Fuck you. So he FaceTimes Yulia, and while he's FaceTiming her, we get some shots inside Yulia's house that seems to be really under renovation for some reason. Cough, cough, Russian mob.
I
So,
was I got more squeamish at the scenes of her putting contacts in her eyes than any of the kills.
oh no, honestly, same. I don't like that. I don't like anything near my eyes. I don't like anything to do with eyes. I just mm-mm. Big no-no
Yeah.
for me. Um
The but they're video chatting. She's basically talking about her how she's packing for her trip and how protective her dad is. And then downstairs, it happens downstairs. We first get to see that John Carver is in the house.
yep.
He doesn't kill Yulia's dad or
Or the cop.
the cop is there. He uses a trank gun on them. So I guess, I guess that's a bonus. He's just breaking and entering and doing type of murder, not mass murder yet.
True. So
Well,
yeah, he tranks Yulia's dad as well as the cop that was there that was supposed to be providing attention for or protection for Yulia and her father, but he was not. He was just eating the leftover corn. Um
yeah. Which, when we see Carver next, that motherfucker saw what the guy was eating and saw the skewers used to eat corn on the cob, and was just like, I could use those.
Yep. You want to talk about this one, Rob?
Yeah.
Hopefully. God damn it. What the fuck?
Hello?
Hello?
Can you hear me?
I can now.
Okay. So as I was saying, Yulia is too busy doing whatever the fuck she was at her nightstand to notice that there's a man in her room. And all of a sudden, this motherfucker just takes the corn on the cob fucking stencils and jabs them right into each of her ears.
Which is. Ugh. So gross.
Completely throwing away her entire sense of balance.
Yeah.
She unable to walk.
So after her balance is thrown off by the corn on the cob ears, um, she proceeds to attempt to get up, and oh yeah, while she was getting stabbed in the ears by John Carver, she was still on video call with Scuba and Jess, um,
Causing them to rush
freak out.
directly
Yeah,
to her house.
yeah.
Which that couldn't have been that far away, because by the time they got there, Scuba burst through the door, gun in hand, ready to start blasting, and he's got her at knife point. He was using a knife, right, in that scene?
Yeah, he had her at knife point, holding on to Yulia. And basically Scuba's like, let her fucking go. Let her go, you fucking piece of shit. I'll blow your fucking brains out, blah, 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 all that shit.
Forgets the safety.
Yeah, forgets that the safety is on. John Carver then fucking turns on a table saw that is in the house.
Yep.
And throws Yulia onto it, which arguably, here's a couple other things. As being somebody that has worked with table saws before, the minute that they touch something that is human flesh or fleshy, they turn off. They stop.
This is a mob house. The guy probably had it rigged and set up for in case he had to do some interrogations.
That is fair. So it starts on her hand, and then being the genius blonde chick that she is, instead of pulling away from it, she proceeds to fall further onto it. Then
Trying to stop her hand. I think if that's the case, she might have expected if I get my hand out, it might. It didn't stop. Just cut through her fingers.
yeah.
And her basically cutting through her finger, she slid forward. Her torso then hits the saw.
Yep. So John Carver gets away. Scuba comes up, gets Jess off of it, or gets not Jess. Yulia gets Yulia off the table saw. Yulia is already dead. And
Jessica's traumatized in the corner.
And even more traumatized than Jessica, we have Scuba, who's now holding his girlfriend, and her internals are now external, and they're just like, he's just like, Jess, what do I do? What do I do, Jess? What do I do now? Like, you don't do shit, Scuba. You cry.
Scuba, you mourn.
Yeah, you
mourn
mourn.
at this point.
She dead. She dead, bro.
Yeah.
So
Ugh.
then we jump to the house where where like Jess and Scuba and I think Bobby was there.
No,
No, Bobby wasn't there at the time.
No.
But it was like Jess, Scuba, the sheriff, a bunch of other people.
Jess's family.
Yeah. And basically they come up with a plan.
Yeah, Jessa was like, I want to set a trap for John Carver. So they get the idea that to set up a trap at the Thanksgiving parade that's about to be happening. I think I'm gonna guess the next day.
I think it is the next day.
What a way to get over just watching your friend die right in front of you.
Literally.
That has to be. There's a lot of emotional turmoil there, but
I would bet.
But during the Thanksgiving parade, their plan is to see if they can't like spot the guy in the John Carver mask. But I think someone forgot to tell them that
everybody's going to be wearing them.
A lot of people are going to be wearing the mask, and a character that we haven't seen since the beginning pops back up again. Mitch is leading a protest against Thomas Wright's family. And I'm not sure what your plan was, buddy, but you know there's a murderer in town.
Yeah.
And there has to be some evidence at this point that the guy's wearing a John Carver mask out to the public. Like, hey, don't wear John. I guess they wouldn't want to let everybody know, because then how are you supposed to spot him?
True.
But all out of nowhere, he throws a canister out there first, correct?
Yes, he throws out and
he's not
canister.
Tear gas.
I think it wasn't tear gas. I don't think it was tear gas. I think it was just like a smoke grenade type thing.
Yeah, but he throws that out. But he's also not dressed up in the outfit. He's dressed up as a clown that looks a lot like one of the clowns from Killer Clowns from Outer Space when I first watched it.
Yeah, they kind of do.
That's what popped to my mind at first. He cuts off the head of a kid in a chicken mascot outfit, right?
Turkey.
Turkey.
It's Thanksgiving, Robert.
Do you not have...
What do you think?
Of chicken during Thanksgiving?
No, it's fucking Turkey Day. You've been lied to for years. But yeah, so the now clown version of John Carver goes up and cuts the head of Lionel, another person that was at the store.
He was the other person driving the cart that hit Amanda in the head.
Yes. In case you can't tell, there's a repetition going on, a pattern, if you will.
There's a suspect. There's a hit list.
Yeah, there's a hit list. He cuts off Lionel's head with an axe, and then we have like the parade stops abruptly, causing the man that was driving the float that Jess, her family, and Scuba were on their float there was a boat, and the boat's mast goes through the driver's head while his grandchildren are in the car with him.
Yeah, and one of his granddaughters is like, "Grandpa, wake up!"
Yeah, she's just like, "Grandpa, wake up! Grandpa, wake up! Grandpa, wake up!" And the other one is just like, "Ah!"
At that point, it's like, oh, honey, he's not waking up.
Yeah, like he's not waking up ever again. Actually, he's dead.
But
Um,
you gotta imagine the guy behind John Carver is probably thinking like, I didn't mean for that to happen.
yeah, like
Ooh.
ooh, that's a bad one. But so then Yulia, or not Yulia, Jesus, Jessica, Scuba, Thomas, and Kathleen. That's the stepmom's name, right? Yeah,
Yeah, it was
Kathleen.
Kathleen.
They all are told to get inside a police cruiser, to get them out of there because clearly they're after them, or John Carver's after them. And the clown comes up, shoots the police officer with a dart, knocking them unconscious, and then proceeds to shoot the Thomas, Scuba, Jessica, and Kathleen, all with a dart.
Yep. He knocks them out. We get transported to the next scene, which we don't know where it's taking place at that moment. But we wake up to Kathleen's perspective as she is spread across the table and
And
seasoned
yeah,
and
John
prepared.
Carver is like putting butter on her and seasoning, salt, pepper, rosemary, and thyme. All the main seasonings that you need to make one delicious Kathleen flavored turkey. Uh,
Yeah, this is something that kind of the idea of being not basted, but seasoned is kind of gross.
I was gonna say, Robert, is this like one of your secret fetishes? Do you want to get basted? Like,
No,
what's
the
going
exact
on, buddy?
opposite. Exact opposite. Ugh. And it with a Quentin Tarantino kind of scene at the when they're like focusing on the feet was the grossest to me.
Yeah, no, I agree with you on that. I don't like feet either.
But Carver goes away. We then see Kathleen wake up, or not fully. She's awake at that when she's being seasoned, but she fully wakes up, gets off the table, runs away, causing Carver to grab a pitchfork. Which I love me a good old fork in horror movies.
Yes, pitchforks in horror movies are so good. But so then she makes her way upstairs, and finds herself to be in some sort of cabin.
Some sort of house and when she goes upstairs, for some reason there's a fridge up there because this felt like it was up not on the first floor, but maybe the second floor, and it caused me to question who has a fridge on their second floor.
Well, like it was on the first floor because like she was in the
Was it?
basement.
It just felt like cause I could have swore I saw like a top of a tree outside the window. So I was
No,
like, oh, this feels weird to have a fridge in this room specifically.
even if they did, rich people do weird things. Um,
That's fair.
so then she opens the fridge, or does she bump the fridge and then it opens? I can't remember. But so she opens the fridge, and it turns out Amy, the cheerleader that was stabbed in the foot, hand, and back, is inside of the fridge in a plastic bag.
Somehow is alive.
Yeah, somehow. And basically, Kathleen, the always looking out for herself lady that she is like, I'll be back for you. He's coming. I'll be back. And then she tries to run, or she tries to hide at first, which is just stupid. Should have just ran from the fucking get-go. Tries to hide behind a wall to hit John Carver. He's, although a smart boy, and sees that there is blood trail to where she is because she was standing in blood of Amy.
Yep. Yeah.
He then stabs through the wall, trying to stab Kathleen. Misses. She runs. Finally. Goes to run out the front door, and this man javelin throws the pitchfork into her back. Such a good throw. Gotta respect it.
Listen, it was it was point perfect too. Like the two middle prongs, is that what you'd call them on a pitchfork?
Yeah.
They got
They go like right in her chest. And it's like very, very well done. Very well
guarantee
shot.
those. Yeah. He drags her back into the cabin. And then we fast forward, not too much forward, but then we see that she is now in this industrial oven,
Yep.
which at that scene we kind of get the reveal that the location was from earlier at the festival, and it is the house of the actual
John Carver. Yeah.
So we get to see that, and it's like, oh shit! So this is where the killer's been hiding out. How this is a historical landmark. How come there's no security there?
Dude, literally. Like, what the fuck? Why is there no security here? But so she's in the oven and she's basically like, don't do this, let me out. Like, why are you doing this? Let me out, blah 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 blah. And he opens the oven door. It makes it seem like he might be letting her out. Then proceeds to stab her in the arm with a fucking meat thermometer and close the oven.
And we get a slow and painful death of watching cook.
Yeah, honestly, of all of the deaths that you and I have talked about so far on our show, like on this show, the idea of being cooked alive to me sounds fucking awful. By far.
It is grim because you can there's the parts where she's like trying to avoid her hands and feet from like touching anything. But it's like, oh, you're touching everything in there, sweetie.
Yeah.
And I will say I died laughing after she is dead. She is gone, and you just see the meat thermometer.
The fucking pop up, yes! I fucking died at that part. I was like, oh my god, that is such a beautifully subtle thing to add there. But so then we jump forward to Jessica, Scuba, Gabby, Evan, and Thomas all sitting around a Thanksgiving table, as well as the top half of Lizzie.
Yep.
Manny's head.
Yep.
But no Lonnie. I always found that weird.
Was he not there?
No, Lonnie wasn't at the table.
Oh yeah. I feel like
Lonnie was not at the table, which I always thought was really weird. But so they are all sitting around the table, and essentially.
Oh no, Lonnie's head is actually at the table.
Are you sure it's Lonnie's head and not Manny's? Because I know Manny's head is at the table.
Oh wait, the frames.
Because Lonnie didn't get decapitated. He just got his neck snapped.
Damn you, Netflix, for not letting me go frame by frame.
So essentially, anyways, it doesn't matter. Lonnie might be there, he might not. I'm pretty sure he's not though.
What's the point in killing him if you're not gonna if he's the only victim that you don't put there?
He didn't put Amy there either.
Which one was Amy?
The girl in the freezer.
Yeah, she was. She was the cheerleader.
Was the cheerleader there too?
That was the cheerleader. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're right.
The one that was in the fridge, and I don't confirm her dead after the trampoline because I only confirm her dead after he stabs her in the neck to get her blood into the.
That's true. That's true. I forgot about the blood in the chalice. So, anyways, John Carver comes in and he's essentially like mocking them.
He's streaming too.
Yes, I'm looking at it. Lonnie is not in. Who is not at the table, which I do find very weird. But so essentially, He's mocking them, and being like, "We're all gonna have Thanksgiving together." Da 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 da. All this crazy shit. And there's this thing in the middle of the table, covered in a blanket. But he grabs a chalice, stabs Amy in the neck, filling the chalice with her blood as like the wine for this supper. And then he takes the blanket off, and we see the masterful work of his cooking skills. We see Kathleen, no head, spatchcocked open like a fucking turkey.
That'd be hard to do after all the muscles locked up.
Honestly, I think that it probably would be, but I find it really funny of how she's like sitting there.
That's fair.
Cause like he has her like set like she is a turkey. Then we get our next kill of the scene of essentially John Carver walking around the table saying that he wants everybody to say what they're thankful for. And he starts with Evan. He gets to Evan, sets the cell phone in front of him that he's streaming off of, and is basically like, "What are you thankful for?" Excuse me. He asks what he's thankful for. Evan then immediately starts screaming, asking for help, telling people to come and help him, all this shit. And John Carver takes a meat cleaver to his fucking head.
Damn. Also, I just sent you a picture in our Discord, in the message between you. Lonnie is there. He's all the way in the back.
Oh, he is all the way in the back.
He's right behind the woman that gets cut in half.
Yeah, I find it weird that he's not... That, like, you don't really see him. But yeah, so Evan gets his head smashed in by a meat tenderizer. And
rightfully so.
During this time, Jessica realizes that she has a ring on that was given to her by McCarty before the parade. And that ring has a little like flip thing out of like a little knife. So she starts using the little knife to like cut the rope open. Which honestly, at that point, I was like, okay, it's definitely not McCarty.
Yeah, that kind of sealed it. Honestly, giving a gun to somebody, I think giving a gun to somebody, if you're the killer, maybe isn't a smart choice anyways, because at that point, it's like, I'm giving it to you free. I'm not making money off of this.
Yeah, so, but like, he's not doing it for the money. He's doing it for the thrill of the kill, essentially.
I don't know. I'm just saying, if I was a murderer and I sold guns, I wouldn't be just giving a gun away to somebody who's on my hit list.
That's fair. So anyways, he uses Jess uses the little ring knife to cut herself free, gives the ring knife to Scuba so Scuba can cut himself free. Scuba then swings on John Carver, and Jess runs.
Because I think Scuba didn't fully get himself out. I think he just he got most of the way, and then he broke the chair.
Yes. Oh, there's one thing that we did forget. After John Carver smashes in Evan's head, he says the next person that I'm going to ask what they're thankful for is Thomas Wright, as he carves a piece of his now dead wife and puts it on his plate, saying that he should eat his dead wife.
Yeah.
So we can add cannibalism into this movie, or attempted.
Attempted forced cannibalism.
Yes, because then Scuba hits him, and Jess runs the fuck out of there. Scuba tries to run behind her. He gets fucking stabbed or
he
slashed.
Gets slashed on the arm.
Slashed.
He gets slashed on the arm. He's not dead.
I know he doesn't die.
But has a few more important things than to kill a leftover.
Yeah, he's just trying to get Jessica right now. So basically we get through that, and Jessica comes to she starts running, and she's running and running and running. She keeps running, running, and running, running. Anyways, so she ends up finding the sheriff, Eric Newton, played by Patrick Dempsey,
Mhm.
on the ground with blood.
Unconscious.
Yeah, with blood on his face and unconscious. And she sees Bobby run into the building.
Well, she sees she doesn't know who it is until she gets in there.
But she believes that it is possibly Bobby. She takes the gun off of the sheriff and goes into the building.
Yeah, it's where all the floats and stuff are held for the parade.
Yeah. So
Which is kind of surprising that they're in there, because you would think that they're a crime scene right now.
honestly, yeah, you would think, but no. So she gets in there, and then all of a sudden, the sheriff pops up out of nowhere, and she's like, "It's Bobby. I saw him. He's over there." Da 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 da. And the sheriff goes over, pops off a couple shots, but it's unclear if Bobby is dead.
Yeah, yeah. We don't get to see the shots. We just hear them because we're stuck on Jessica's perspective.
Yeah, it appears that Bobby has gotten away. That's what the sheriff claims. And then we go to more cops showing up. The sheriff trying to, talk to Jessica, calm her down. Everything is all right. And earlier in the movie, the sheriff said to Jessica, "It's the little things, the little details. You got to pay attention to all of them." And that's when Jessica notices that the sheriff's pants are ripped. But they're ripped in the same way that hers are from the burdocks that she was running through when she was running through the woods.
I was gonna say, was it that? Because I thought I didn't see any rip on his pants.
It was like at the... Yeah, it was like at the bottom. Like there was frays on his pants and the mud on his shoes.
It was mostly the mud and the burdocks that was on his boots, which, dang, what a sloppy move, my guy. Wearing the same shoes, you killing.
Yeah, what the fuck, man? So then we find out that the sheriff, Eric Newland, is John Carver. And we figure out his motivation for this is all because of Amanda dying. Because Amanda was pregnant with the sheriff's baby.
Yes. Which, damn. If this movie wasn't the same way, Mitch really was going to get done dirty no matter what.
Yeah, literally. Like, he was either going to lose his wife because she dies, or she was going to lose his wife to somebody that he considered a friend.
Yeah, what a... Damn.
That is such a dick move. So we get a little struggle between Jess and the sheriff. Jess is trying to get the fuck out. The sheriff doesn't want her to. And then all of a sudden the glass window breaks.
Well, he admits to her basically that he is the killer. He is live streaming it with a phone that was found in the evidence.
Yes, she was live streaming it in the phone that was claimed to be Bobby's.
Yep, it was Bobby's. That's right.
So everybody now knows that he is John Carver.
Yes, there's now irrefutable proof. So at this point, he's just like, fuck it, might as well kill you here.
Yep, proceeds to try to kill her. The window breaks, and Bobby appears. He also states that Bobby was never the killer. Basically, he was going to use Bobby as a scapegoat. He was going to frame Bobby as the killer so that he could, get away scot-free, essentially.
Yep.
So
didn't work out in his favor.
Definitely did not work out in his favor. They have their little chase scene, their little fight, their little rah, whatever the fuck you want to call it. And Jess and Bobby are able to get out away from the sheriff. The sheriff's still looking for him. Jess turns on a helium tank to fill up one of the balloons, one of the parade balloons. And they get into the car, or into the truck that is Bobby's uncle's, and they start to drive away, but the sheriff sees the wench on the tow truck, wraps it around a pole, holds him in, and in all manners of convenience, there happens to be a flintlock rifle on the parade float, or on the truck,
Blunder.
that Jess just happens to know how to use because her father made her learn how to do it for a commercial that was shot before.
I will always give credit to movies that bring back the blunderbuss.
Yes, I will too. So basically, she ends up, the balloon is inflated. She ends up pulling the trigger on the blunderbuss after packing it expertly, exploding the balloon, and allegedly killing the sheriff. There is no irrefutable proof. The body was not found. There is a chance that this guy is still alive.
Yeah, don't forget he says the tagline too before he does all that to get onto the truck or before he does anything else. He shouts too that this Thanksgiving there will be no leftovers.
That is very true. He does yell the tagline, which is the oddest place to put that, in my personal opinion. I feel like if he were to have said that like at the table after he tries to feed Thomas, Kathleen, if he were to have been like, "Oh, come on, Mr. Wright, there will be no leftovers this Thanksgiving." Like, I feel like that would have fit so well.
Nah, because you gotta put, if you're gonna do the tagline in the movie, you gotta put it there at the third act. That's right fair. There at the end.
Well, I mean the table, that's the end, that's like the beginning of the third act.
I'm talking about like after the reveal.
Yeah, after the reveal. Yeah. I get it. But yeah, so I really enjoyed this movie. I honestly really like it. Definitely will give this one many rewatches over the next couple of years. I will watch it every Thanksgiving. Do you have anything else that you want to add to it, Rob?
Job at taking. We don't see much in Thanksgiving for like in media for the holidays and so seeing a movie that plays with the idea of like Thanksgiving and giving a killer in that time is quite, and I'm happy it wasn't just schlocky slasher, because I feel like some things nowadays would be like it's schlock behind it.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you on that. I definitely like how it's done, how it's used, the way that it's portrayed. It's
I do like how Eli Roth, because originally this movie idea came from him creating a fake trailer for another movie called Grindhouse from 2007.
Yep.
And we got to see two scenes specifically adapted from that put into this movie, which was the trampoline scene, which was a bit more
appropriate.
This version was appropriate compared to the
compared to the one in Grindhouse. There was a lot more nudity.
Yeah.
A lot more naked people. And then the other one that I know that we got a new replicated version of it was Lionel's death, decapitation of the chicken or of the turkey. God damn it, you got me saying chicken, you fucker.
Yeah. The best thing about that was basically shot for shot for the beheading remade.
Yeah. And that movie is literally, or that short, it's a 2-minute short. Uh it is called Thanksgiving. It was released in 2007. Um
If you watch Grindhouse from the same year, it is in there. It is one of the. It's much like how there was fake trailers made for Tropic Thunder. It's in the opening of the movie. If you want to seek out and find it, I do suggest to watch Grindhouse. It is very fun.
I also suggest to watch it. It's definitely a definite watch movie. Um
Yeah.
but
But
so
also, we can say that this movie was a success too, because it had a budget of about 15 million, grossed 31 million in the States, in Canada, and then 14.6 million in other uh, territories outside of the US. So 15 making back just under 50 million, or 15 million movie making just back under 50.
yeah, no, I completely agree. This movie was definitely a success in that. I would say that it was also definitely a success within the last like 3 movies that he's worked on. This one I would say
Yeah.
is probably the best.
Yeah, Eli Roth, other horror movies that he has made for those to check out is Cabin Fever from 2002.
Hostel.
He did Hostel and Green Inferno. Although nowadays he might be associated with the Borderlands movie, which
Yeah, which we won't talk
I,
about that.
I have yet to watch, but my hopes are not as high.
They shouldn't be. Um but I really like out of his last couple of movies that I've seen like come out from him, this one is definitely up there in my favorites.
Oh yeah, it is. It is quite good. But yeah, so I kind of look forward because back in November of last year, shortly after this movie was released, Roth announced on his Instagram that a sequel had been greenlit to release in 2025.
Which is gonna be amazing.
Um, I do believe Neil Valiquet has.
Currently there are 5 people that have signed on to do it again. Neil Valiquet, Addison Ray, Milo Manheim, which is the guy who plays Ryan, Bobby, and Scuba. So pretty
Yeah,
much the essential like 5 that were still alive by the end of the movie have already signed on to be in it.
which, if it goes that way, we need more. We need more modern college slashers.
I agree.
Let's take a step outside of the high school setting and let's go. Let's hit back to college, like Scream 2.
Honestly, like they have the chance to do that extremely easily, considering with how stuff is laid out for this.
Yeah.
Um, but as we do at the end of every episode where we talk about a movie, Robert, what are your chances?
Uh, I feel like in this setting, just because of where I'd place myself during Black Friday, I don't think I would end up on the hit list. The second I see bodies, I'm dipping.
All right, let's say that you are on the hit list.
If I'm
Do you think you have a chance against John Carver or no?
if I had a McCarty to get me a gun, yes.
Yeah, that's what's up. Uh, honestly, I'm with you there. I don't like rushing in when stores are super packed, so I would stay back. So I don't think I would be on the hit list either. But you know, if I did have to deal with him, I would say if I had a McCarty, I would. I'm right there with you.
This man. This man's the best chiropractor in the world, and his hands are ready for me. I'm just saying.
Oh my god. So one other thing to ask, and then we'll wrap this up. Scale of 1 to 10. What did you feel about this movie?
Uh, I will give this movie point 7 bones out of 10.
A 7 bones out of 10?
7.7.
7.7 out of 10. All right. I can give you that. For me, I'd give it an 8 out of 10. I really enjoyed this movie. Overall, I very much liked it. There are very few things that I questioned heavily about it, but overall, amazing movie, and I really enjoyed it. So, I believe that is where we are going to call it for today. Thank you all for joining us in the graveyard as we traversed the horrors that Thanksgivings can bring. Leftovers are not appreciated here, so thank you again for watching, and we will see you next week. Be careful on your way out of the graveyard, and as always, have a great night.